Well, it's very hard to stand here and say that there are only 19 days and 19 climbs left, and that I have already completed 346 consecutive climbs. I think what's been very interesting for me personally is to see how well my legs and my body have responded to not getting a rest for a day. And I think a large portion of that is the benefit of being in nature every single day, and as well as the conversations that I get to have with people from all around the world, all different walks of life that have traveled and experienced, and you get energy, I think, from very different things, not just from food, and to be in nature and do my barefoot hikes as well, and to really be connected with what I've been doing this year. And obviously for me, 3 amazing causes has been life-changing. I can safely tell you as well that if I was doing this on my own and I wasn't doing it for a cause, I probably would have given up a long time ago.
Yeah.
But the benefit of having raised so much money already and being able to distribute it and to meet survivors. I mean, Massimo is one of the survivors from leukemia who's actually joined, and he's doing 6 hikes with me in a row.
Yeah.
To meet the schools where we've been donating the books and see the gratitude from the headmaster and the teachers and the children. And then also to meet people who are getting homes and moving out of shacks and what that means, and winter not having to worry about coming home and scoop water out of your home. It really has been incredible, and one of the greatest lessons has been you get what you focus on. I have met only the most incredible human beings this year. I've been surrounded by phenomenal positivity. And the reason is because dickheads don't want to get up early in the morning and climb a mountain for others.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about being positive is not you are discounting that there's negative things in the world. It's that by having that positive mindset, I'm able to focus on, okay, well, what can we do? And for me, it's been amazing to hear what the stories are in the news and people's fears, and actually be involved with people who are on the ground doing the actual work and making this country amazing. And to be a small part of that this year has been a real blessing. I'm incredibly grateful for my staff. And also to have happened in Nelson Mandela's 100th year has also just been, the synchronicity this year has been phenomenal. And like we started today where the top part of the mountain was covered in clouds. It's now disappeared, and we're able to see the beautiful city lights below. And that's something as well, like you just go with the flow, Try not to stress too much about what you're going to experience, force it. What's interesting is the one thing I really wanted to see this year, snow. It's the only thing I haven't experienced. Whereas everything else that I had not thought about and just said, yeah, I'll see whatever I'm meant to see has happened. From lightning to hail to incredible storms, 100-kilometer-hour winds, heat waves. The most beautiful scenery and flowers. It's been absolutely amazing, and I think that was also something that I kind of knew from the start, is that I was going to be able to see this mountain in so many different ways by doing this every day and being forced to do it. Last week Friday, admittedly, if my friend from the States, Sarah, wasn't here, a gent had pulled out because it was going to be raining. I would have turned over and gone back to sleep, but we got rained on the whole way up, but we saw Silver Stream waterfall in the most spectacular fashion. It's the hardest I've ever seen that waterfall flowing this whole year, and it's December. So it's a lesson in when you have committed to doing something, to do it, not worry about what the weather is or if other people pull out. If you say you're going to do something and you really want to, don't worry about what other people do on that specific day. So it's been pretty epic. I still have 19 days to go, so who knows what I'm going to see in the next 3 weeks. I'm very excited. My girlfriend is coming for the 3rd time this year, all the way from San Francisco. My parents will be here for the end. My sister and her family will be here for the end. It's the first time in 7 years that my whole family will be together over New Year's. So that's also a tremendous gift. And it'll be a very emotional end, because as much as I'm looking forward to a rest, it's also it's been a massive part of my life. And the one thing I did realize is, a lot of people said I'm going to miss it. And while that's true, I've also realized you can't miss something that never leaves you. I can just close my eyes and I'm gifted with the most incredible sights coming up that I've had this whole year. I've got also an insane amount of photos, and I'm really looking forward to the next chapter, and using this as a base to continue the work and continue supporting these organizations and doing my bit to make South Africa the best possible country for everybody.
And was the hardest part just the physical aspect, or was there anything else?
Truthfully, I think the mental aspect was harder than the physical. It's why I actually trained for 5 months last year. I always knew I needed to kind of really see where my body was at and also just kind of prepared for it. But little things like last year, just before I finished, I was doing 8 days in a row, and the Saturday was insanely windy. And I was lying in bed thinking, this is not going to be fun. I really don't want to do it. And I remember thinking, this time next year you don't have that option. And so it's constantly pushing my brain when you think, no, not today. I mean, like I said, I started only using the stairs up my block of flats, and I live on the 8th floor, so if it was 2 in the morning, if I'd done it 10 times that day already, the brain goes, no one's going to know. But, all those aspects to kind of get my mindset right was, for me, very important. And, as I was also given some really good advice from Jamie Murray, who his record is 22 times up here in 2 days, which I still think is crazy. And his advice to me was use the first half of the year as training for the second half. Yeah. Which, I'm not going to lie, you can go back and watch the video I did on that day, was very daunting because I knew what had gone into those first 183 days, and to now know that I still had 183 days left was quite daunting. But just learning to break things up into smaller targets, so weekly targets, monthly targets.
Also, I'm probably thinking that the first few months was just a bit of a hassle, and then after what point did it actually become something that you were looking forward to?
Well, I was very surprised. I've never been one to get up easily in the morning, and January, February is some of the hottest months of the year, and I needed to be up at 5 to be at the mountain like Hoppers 5, 6 to kind of beat the heat. And I was very surprised at how easily I was waking up and rearing to go and excited about it. So I actually didn't, for the first sort of 3 months, feel that it was a chore at all. I was actually really excited about, doing this once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I think when I had to help with the rescue in April, I was halfway up and I got 2 missed phone calls and got hold of them. And they said, listen, we've got hikers in need on Smuts-Track. Can you help us? You're the closest. And at that stage, I was probably part of the fittest I've been with the least fatigue. And I was able to literally then put the hammer down and get to the top really quickly and then trail run along the top, which was needed because we were running out of daylight. And we actually did most of the walk back in the dark. But because of that extra time that I gave us, we were able to get to the top of Table Mountain in the daylight. And I think that was kind of the moment where I started to realize that my body was now kind of in the groove, and also was starting to become the real change of the seasons. We just had our first rains. I was really looking forward to experiencing this mountain during the rainy season. I've never been on the mountain when it's really wet. I was really looking forward to seeing the waterfalls, and it did not disappoint. And I think as all those kind of little things started to happen, and before you know it, May was over, and then June was over, and then July was really hot, and then it was the cable car shutdown that I had to get through. So it's interesting. Every month is different. The emotional state is different. I have been learning a hell of a lot about myself as well. So it's been interesting to keep a journal, which I'm going to go through to help me to write a book about this, because there's so much that I have learned that I'm looking forward to sharing that with people. People don't have to. They can. I would recommend it, But you don't have to hike up a mountain every day to understand the principles, and I'm looking forward to sharing that.
I think anyone would just be jealous, I think, after seeing the end result. You're a great motivational speaker, and
well, I think the easy thing is, as with most things in life, people will just see the end result and be like, wow, that's amazing. But they haven't seen the 20 years that I've literally been training for this, training legs at gym every day, cycling, hiking. There's been a lot of hours that have gone into getting my legs to this point, which people neatly will not really see. They'll just see, oh wow, he did this in 2018. Been a lot of days where I've had a sense of humor failure. The weather's been horrendous, body's feeling tough, and not getting a break. So it's always easy to see the shiny lights at the end, which ironically we have the lights shining on Table Mountain for the first time this year, or that I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually the funny thing is, the toughest days are probably some of the most memorable ones that I have in my memory bank, which I'm eternally grateful for.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, thank you.
No, thank you.
I think it's special just to come with you, even if it's just for one of them.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, and that's one of the things I've been very grateful for this year is the support from people and people actually taking the time to hike up with me and to donate to make this project the success that it's been. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
That's a pleasure.